Today it seems as though some radio amateurs are having issues with the phonetic alphabet. I'll explain why and how to fix this problem. Coming up. Hey everyone, welcome to the Shack. I am Ria, call sign N2RJ, and I'm a ham radio operator. We talk about ham radio and other radio related hobbies and activities on this channel, so if you do like the content, please help the channel out by hitting like and subscribe. It helps keep things growing, moving along, and bring in more content just for you. So I'm going to address a hot topic today that many hams seem to get, in my opinion, mistakenly hung up on and probably falling into a bit of a trap that they themselves didn't even realize they were falling into. And that is the question of the phonetic alphabet. So first of all, spoiler alert, I am absolutely not of the opinion that hams need to strictly stick to the standard ICAO, or NATO phonetic alphabet in every situation. I'll explain exactly why. I'll show you how it can be a benefit to get away from it a little. But watch all the way to the end and I'll show you how you can be smart about it. First, let's talk about the FCC rules. In that, there is no FCC rule saying that you have to use a specific phonetic alphabet, or even any phonetics at all. It's merely just a suggestion, really, that you can use a phonetic alphabet. In most other countries, it's pretty much the same too. They leave the choice up to you. However, the standard ICAO phonetic alphabet has been a staple for ham radio since forever. Most hams learn about it in their amateur radio exams, and most have actually used it on the air. The use of phonetic alphabet actually started before World War II, and at that time they were beginning to use radio for long-distance telephone circuits, and naturally the quality was very low compared to how it is today. If you look at the history of the alphabet, it actually didn't really start out with any rhyme or reason. I mean, it almost seems like they just picked words out of thin air and eventually tweaked it when they found out that some words simply didn't work. What we know today is the phonetic alphabet actually kind of really just became finalized in around 1959 with the ITU Administrative Radio Conference that specified certain code words. Before that time, the actual phonetic alphabet was all over the place, and you could see some of these words really were completely different from what we have today. But from 1959 onwards, they kind of just remained the same, and later on they added numbers with proper pronunciation. But just because they settle on a standard doesn't mean that it's perfect for all situations. There are some call signs, for example, which will be completely unintelligible on HF, especially if you don't use phonetics. Let's take, for example, and I'm changing the call to protect the innocent so that nobody says, hey, use my call on YouTube video. Well, sorry, buddy. So let's say the call is 3Z3CG. Say that twice. 3Z3CG. Ugh. If you just say that call sign on HF with even a moderate amount of noise, you're going to get an unintelligible mush. You don't know if it's 333CC, 333CG, 3Z33G, or something else. So it's much clearer to say 3 Zulu 3 Charlie Golf. This is exactly what phonetics were invented for. See, it's a proper application of phonetics. But as I've said, though, this is primarily for HF or VHF SSB operation. Single sideband phone, where the voice quality could become very much degraded with propagation conditions. I always say that on FM repeaters or FM simplex or digital voice like DMR, D-Star, YSF, where you have good moderate signal, you really just should be using plain English or whatever your language is. Don't use any phonetics unless you spell it out completely out and people don't understand you. Don't use any Q codes either. I mean, those are really intended for Morse code. They are unnecessary and really just make an unintelligible, false-sounding radioese. It just sounds ridiculous. Certain things like 7.3, yeah, they're amateur customs traditions, and there are local customs you'll never get rid of. I said don't use Q codes, but in Trinidad and Tobago we use QRZ as a general call and a repeater. There may be some leeway here, particularly where the other party doesn't speak your language. In that case, the use of common abbreviations and phonetics can help bridge the language gap and allow you to communicate. It's really also not productive to use cute phonetics on a regular basis, like those custom phonetics. It might be nice once or twice, but often it just annoys people and adds to the confusion. At the same time, there are instances where using a substitute word for clarity may make things better. For example, the word Zanzibar is often substituted for Zulu. This is because Zulu is so short and Zanzibar is much longer, which enables it to cut better through difficult band conditions. Then the pronunciation can get quite close. The pronunciation of Zulu can get quite close to Juliet. So, because Juliet is pronounced incorrectly, actually. And same with kilowatt being substituted for kilo. Well, this brings me to something else. In order for the standard phonetics to be used effectively, they have to be pronounced properly. Believe it or not, there is a right and wrong way to do this. And yes, there are standards, particularly when it comes to the emphasis on various syllables. Here are some common ones. Hotel, for example, is pronounced hotel, not hotel, but hotel, with an emphasis on tel. Kilo is pronounced kilo and not kilo. And my favorite, papa, has emphasis on the second syllable. I'll put a link below with the official ICAO pronunciation guide so you can learn how to properly pronounce each one. But mispronouncing these phonetics is why many call signs get busted. So I hope you learned something. I enjoyed showing you this short topic. Thanks as always. Be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, tell your friends. Until next time, N2RJ. Oh, I'm sorry. November 2, Romeo, Juliet. Saying 7-3 and keep on hamming. See ya.